so I created this domain of self-empathy, and I want to begin there. And what that is for myself and for all of you, if you will just begin with wherever you are, just kind of accepting yourself wherever you are. And then asking, given this place where I am, what is possible? And I'm just being quiet for that while you hold that with me, and I'm doing it myself as well. And then mundane just means any little thing that you know is difficult to change. It can be a tiny habit. It can be an organizational problem. If you think it's a macro, and then it's good for you to count that, and that's what that mundane is covering. So if you would right now take about 2 minutes to choose a macro in your life and to describe it in 3 to 6 words. I'm going to be quiet for those 2 or 3 minutes. If you get 2 things, that's fine, and then we're going to use a little domain focusing to help. So just a couple of minutes of silence while you are finding a macro in your life, and just saying something about it in 3 to 6 words. 1 word tends to be not enough, you know, and life, your whole life, that's too big. But oh, this problem with organizational blockage, you know, and it's happened in different places. That might be one for you. Or this problem with my back that I've worked on forever. And yeah, okay, so I'll be quiet for 2 minutes. And we're just having a quietness while people are finding and identifying something difficult in their life, something that has seemed unchangeable. And then we're going to work on that for the rest of our time together. This is a kind of a blitz through macro shifting. We're not giving things the time they deserve, so do be gentle with yourself. And of course, in a retreat, there would be lots more time and care, and things would be filled out more. So just forgive yourself if, no macro appears or something. That's okay. And Kurt, if you could put up the domain focusing form. And for those on the phone that can't see, this is just the 3 columns of thinking, felt, sensing, and self-empathy. And what I want you to do is to take your situation or your macro and the 3 words that it is. And first of all, we're going to go to self-empathy. This is a different move than we usually do in focusing. So what we do first, I'm just going to say, I've been working on, let's say I've been working on a back problem. I'm making that up. There are other things I've worked on, okay? And I might say, can I be patient with this persistent, challenging back problem? Can I be, another way you might say this is, let's say I had this organizational blockage thing as a macro. Can I be patient with myself in this situation of organizational blockage? And you can play with the words, like sometimes patience feels not right because it's going along, and so sometimes I say, can I be assertive around with supporting myself in this organizational blockage? That would be another kind of self-empathy. Maybe patient doesn't feel right. Or can I just be forgiving? If you have a lot of guilt around something, can I be forgiving with myself in this organizational blockage situation? And you're asking this question, this link to self-empathy, and you're waiting and just kind of sensing inside, is it a yes or is it a no? With self-empathy, the no is instructive. The no helps. It doesn't help as much as a yes, but it does tell you something. And we tend to keep going until we get a yes. And some macros are so overwhelming that it's very, very hard to get a yes. You can't be curious. You can't be interested. You can't be tender. You can't be compassionate. You can't be loving. You can't be understanding. You can't be accepting. But it's very valuable to try all those, okay? And then if you do get some kind of self-empathy that works, Now let's just take the situation, the back or the organizational macro, and just get an initial felt sense of that now. And remember Ginlin's philosophical description of felt sensing. It's holding an issue and letting a felt sense come. So you're just holding this issue and letting a felt sense come. And remember that macros are notorious for being hard to grasp and hard to get a felt sense of the whole thing. So don't beat yourself up. And domain focusing teaches us that. In domain focusing, we stop and wait for a felt sense all the time, and often it doesn't come right away. And we try again a little later. We give it a half a minute. And if a felt sense does come, try and give it a word. And I'll just give you some of the avenues here, just like you might see, is there a kinesthetic word that fits? What's the emotional quality of what forms inside? Is another kind of avenue in. And do you notice a place where this inside, where your felt sense is kind of forming? These are just a few of the avenues into felt sensing. And if you get a word, if you get stiff or awkward, just make sure to write that down. We have a very active writing journaling function in macro shifting and domain focusing. So be sure to kind of be writing down some of these things that come so you have a little record of it.